Picture your morning, not some sci-fi, your actual morning. You reach for your phone, nothing. Dead, blank, cold glass, no boot logo, no notification buzz. You step outside. The sky looks normal, but the lights are gone. The city hum is gone. It's silent in a way that feels loud. Airplanes are grounded mid-route. They circle, then stop responding. Traffic lights are frozen, trains stall, elevators stop between floors, ATMs show blank screens, banks offline. Your money exists, but no one can touch it. No hackers, no terrorist strike, no government order, not even a cyber war. The culprit, our nearest star, the sun. And here's the kicker. This exact scenario almost happened. We dodged it by a cosmic hair. So ask yourself, if it nearly hit us once, what happens if the next one doesn't miss? Why this matters now? The sun seems chill. A glowing ball in the sky, comforting, predictable, ancient. But that comfort is a lie. Under the surface is a molten storm. Magnetic fields twist like taffy, plasma oils. The sun's mood swings are real. It cycles roughly every 11 years. Scientists call it the solar cycle. Engineers call it a headache. Governments call it a line item they hope never to deal with. Right now, we are leaning into a new peak, a solar maximum around 2025-2026. That timeline is not some vague rumor. It's data-backed. NASA monitors it. Universities model it. Reality checks in real numbers. Why should you care? Because our world is built on fragile, precise systems. Satellites for everything. Power grids on long metal threads. GPS that times money, transit, and deliveries. This fragile web was not designed for a giant electromagnetic slap. The true twist, humanity isn't living on the planet anymore. We live on top of infrastructure. Lose the infrastructure and the planet keeps spinning, but civilization as we know it stumbles and bleeds. Before you shrug, rewind to the 19th century. No satellites, no grid. Still the sun found a way to reach into human systems, and that ancient reach should terrify you today more than ever. The Carrington event. When the sun punched humanity, 1859. No planes, no electricity like we have today, but telegraph lines were the internet of their era, instant messages across continents. Then the sky put on a show. Aurora Borealis, visible in Cuba, in Italy, cities bathed in ghost light. People thought the world was ending. Telegraph machines, the crown jewels of communication, started sparking. Wires smoked, operators got shocks. Some machines continued sending messages even after power was cut off, ghost messages powered by the storm itself. Imagine a machine that runs on the storm, not on human-made electricity. Freaky, right? That was the Carrington event, the biggest recorded solar storm hitting Earth. Scientists since have used it as the baseline worst-case scenario. Some models say, if Carrington hits today, the financial cost is in the trillions. Power grids shredded, satellites fried, communications erased. The modern global economy would stagger and then fall. But here's the sinister twist. In 2012, a massive coronal mass ejection, roughly Carrington scale, blasted off the sun and missed Earth by 9 days. 9 days. A cosmic slap that tracked Earth's path and only by luck passed harmlessly by. No fanfare, no headlines screaming, "We almost died." Just data in a quiet NASA report. So the question is blunt. When luck runs out, what then? Because luck is a terrible strategy. What is a super flare? And why it's worse than you think? Not every flare is equal. A tiny flare, annoying. A big flare, bad. A super flare, civilization level bad. Super flares are rare, but when they hit, they release energy that makes Carrington look like a light flicker. Imagine thousands of Carringtons stacked. And that's not a metaphor, that's astronomical math. We've seen super flares on other stars, Telescopes have filmed stars exploding with energy bursts that dwarf anything in modern human memory. For decades, scientists assumed our sun, mature and calm, couldn't produce that level of fury. Then the data got noisy. From 2018 to 2024, stellar surveys and models started whispering, maybe the sun can, maybe not often, but maybe. Rare doesn't mean impossible, and maybe once every few thousand years still means it could happen tomorrow. On geological time, our tech civilization is a blink. We built fragile scaffolding in a universe with teeth. Here's another angle you'll like. Superflares don't need to annihilate the entire biosphere to end modern life. They only need to wreck the systems we rely on for food, medicine, transport, and money. 72 hours. How civilization collapses in stages. The first hour, satellites take hits, radiation fries electronics, communications fail, GPS vanishes. Pay attention, GPS is not just for directions. It's timekeeping for banks, stock trades, telecoms. Lose GPS and the clockwork of modern finance and logistics stutters. 6 hours in, aviation chaos. Airline control is dependent on navigation, on precise timing, on satellite links. Pilots reroute. Some planes land safely thanks to redundancy. Others cannot. Airports become giant parking lots. International flights stop. Supply chains hiccup. Fuel distribution is already strained. Day 1. Power grids begin tripping. Transformers are vulnerable. They saturate, overheat, and sometimes melt. These are not light bulbs you can swap. Big transformers are bespoke, heavy, rare. Replacing them isn't overnight. Utilities try to isolate damage, but the grid is interdependent. A failure in one region cascades to another. Day 2, critical services fail. Water plants need power to push water through pipes. Hospitals run on backup generators, but fuel logistics are broken. Supermarkets close as card readers and refrigeration fail. Municipal services scale back. Panic picks up on social media, whatever remains of it, and people start hoarding. By day 3, extended outages mean medical supply chains break. Vaccines and critical meds spoil. Perishable food rots. Society doesn't explode, it strains and tears. Governments declare states of emergency. Electricity technicians worldwide start working like medics on a battlefield of metal cores and melted copper. But global manufacturing and transportation are hobbled. The replacement cycle that should fix things takes months, sometimes years. That's the shock. The physical hardware, not the idea, not the plan, becomes the bottleneck. The world can be smart and skilled and still fail when key iron parts are gone. Why scientists warn but don't panic? Broadcast it. Scientists are trained to be cautious. They speak in probabilities, not screams. NASA and international agencies publish papers and bulletins, but public-facing statements are measured. Why? Because panic kills more efficiently than knowledge. If you shout apocalypse, people make bad choices. Governments panic too, and panicked governments do weird stuff. Yet internal reports are blunt. They use harsher words: unprepared, vulnerable, systemic risk. Engineers write memos: hey, replace transformers, harden satellites, build redundancies. But these cost money. Politicians weigh budgets against election cycles. Companies calculate ROI. The incentives are misaligned. Short-term gains beat long-term resilience. That's the political arithmetic. Some countries take it seriously. They retrofit critical infrastructure, stockpile spares, coordinate drills. Others ignore it until it's urgent. That patchwork becomes the global problem. An electromagnetic event doesn't respect borders. A meltdown that starts in one grid can send ripple effects across supply chains and finance. The sun doesn't care about national budgets. There's another uncomfortable fact. Detection doesn't equal solution. We can see a CME coming sometimes hours or days in advance, but there's only so much you can do in the window. Shut down the grid, risk cascading failures from abrupt shutdowns, disconnect satellites. That's complicated. Some fixes are slow and expensive, and some damage is simply irreversible on human timelines. The soft collapse. The worst kind. The worst collapse is not cinematic, it's quiet, soft. It's systems that slowly fail, then stop being services, then become luxuries. At first, society invents workarounds, farmers go analog, mechanics fix things by hand, communities adapt. But adaptation costs time and knowledge most people don't have. The workforce was trained for a connected world, not for restarting supply chains without computers. Think logistics. Global just-in-time shipping keeps stores filled without inventory buffers, shelves empty fast, no parts arrive, repairs stall, hospitals triage, cities with high-rise living become dangerous when elevators, pumps and HVAC stop. People trapped without power die in heat waves or cold snaps. Rural areas might fare better short-term, but they still depend on urban supply chains for medicine and fuel. History has examples: localized collapses, regional famines, infrastructure failures. But modern interdependence multiplies vulnerability. The fall isn't dramatic, like in movies. It's a slow redefinition of what's possible. What was daily becomes rare. What was cheap becomes priceless. Social order frays not because people become violent immediately, but because systems that held communities together, health, food distribution, law, get stressed past their breaking points. This is the soft collapse, not an explosion, but a retreat. Civilization rewires itself into smaller, less complex networks. For some, that's survival.
For others, it's loss. For the global whole, it's a reset we didn't design or ask for. Final, open question. Once, brutal, CT. Scan the sky for asteroids. We rehearse alien contact in fiction. We build bunkers and play out war games. But the real, honest threat, it sits above us, glowing and ordinary. It gives life, and it can take modern life offline. So here's the real question. Will we treat a near miss as a wake-up call or as a weird footnote? Will we harden grids, stockpile transformers, build satellite redundancy, and change procurement to shorten lead times? Will we make resilience a policy, not a hashtag? Or will we gamble on cosmic luck again? You can be cynical and say governments won't act until it's too late. That's fair. But you can also do something practical, support resilience-minded policy, demand transparency and risk, and build local readiness. Communities that prepare cut the soft edges of collapse. Individuals learning basic skills, first aid, water purification, small-scale mechanics, buy time. Time is the currency here. Final thought, the sun is indifferent. It doesn't hate or plan. It's physics, the choice is ours. Will we treat obvious risk with obvious action or learn the price the hard way? If you want the production kit, the shot list, voice cues, and B-roll sequence timed to every beat, I'll drop it next. But first, hit that like if this made you uncomfortable. Share this with someone who still thinks apocalypse is dramatic. Because quiet collapses are the ones that actually break you.